Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhanvat. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I have one quick question, Prabhuji, if we have time.
Yes, Mataji, bataiye.
About Raganuga and Ragatmika Bhakti. So Manjaris do come, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari. Manjaris do come as Ragatmika Bhaktas, right, Prabhuji?
They are Ragatmika Bhakti.
Okay. Prabhuji, in spiritual world, like there is two different compartments I heard, Prabhuji. About Panchatattva and Golokurunda, Radha Krishna pastimes. So they're like for Panchatattva, so they're like Sachimata and all like are they are eternal servants, right, Prabhuji? And then I mean like eternally present there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, the pastimes has sannyasi or how we Prabhuji?
In Eternal Leela, Mahaprabhu is married. Sannyas is more like Bhoma Leela.
But okay,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Srila Prabhu.
thank you.
And it's like the pastimes which are before Mahaprabhu Sannyas are the eternal pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. That's why in our temples we uh, dress the Lord in multicolored dresses, no? Blue, green, orange. We don't serve him as sannyasi. And if you read, like, there are books by our acharyas on like daily activities of Lord Chaitanya, and then Lakshmi, Vishnu Priya is there, and then Mahaprabhu goes kirtan, a whole night kirtan with the devotees, bathing in Ganga. Those pastimes are there, but pastimes which are more like South India tour and Vrindavan tour. And those, naturally, there was one reason Mahaprabhu himself wanted to go to Vrindavan. But another reason was Mahaprabhu gave Krishna Bhakti to everybody on the way. Because Mahaprabhu has an external and internal reason. Na? So external reason, he came to give the holy name and deliver everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Like, are there any um, books related to like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Eternal Leela in spiritual world, Prabhuji?
Say it again, Mataji.
Are there any books describes about pastimes in spiritual world about Mahaprabhu's Leelas?
Golok Navadvip is there. Na? Goloka, it is described as two sections. One is Vrindavan, one is Navadvip. Their eternal pastimes of the Lord are there. And the pastimes which used to happen after Mahaprabhu came back from initiation and before he took sannyas. Those are Nitya Leelas, eternal pastimes. Joking with Nityananda Prabhu, and but if we see after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, then Nityananda Prabhu also preached, Advaita Acharya also preached, Mahaprabhu also preached. Those are, they are, I mean, none of the pastimes are temporary, but they're occasional. But then we also hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is continuously um, going from one universe to another. Whenever Krishna goes, right after Krishna comes Lord Chaitanya. So from that perspective, all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are also eternal. Although when we go to Goloka, just like how Krishna childhood pastimes, boyhood pastimes, they are more like occasional. But then Krishna Kishore pastimes when he is 16 years old are eternal. But then other pastimes are more like manifesting here. Likewise, Mahaprabhu also.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has anything anybody want to ask? Yeah, actually, very nice. We had got Purnima festival. All the devotees. Okay, so we can begin now. Bhagavatam.
Prabhuji, one last question to you. Like, is there
Hmm.
any Madhuri Rasa in Chaitanya Prabhu, Mahaprabhu's Leelas?
Can you say that again, Mataji?
Chaitanya Prabhu, Mahaprabhu's Leela, like, they, all five right, rasas, right? From like even Madhuri Rasa also be there in Chaitanya Prabhu, Mahaprabhu's um,
Leelas.
Leelas. Yes,
No, only Dasyaras.
thus.
With Mahaprabhu, only Dasya. I mean, the only exception is Vishnu Priya. But Vishnu Priya relationship with Mahaprabhu is also that there's some reverence is there. With Mahaprabhu, all the devotees have some awe and reverence. There is no like full Sakya or where that that kind of sambandh is not there. All of us, our relationship with Mahaprabhu is servant.
Thank you.
We cannot
One,
be like we cannot be eternally when we go back. We cannot become the parent of Lord Chaitanya. We cannot become like an intimate friend of Lord, and we cannot become a lover of Lord Chaitanya, like in a Madhurya relationship. Only servant. Advaita Acharya is also servant. Nityananda Prabhu is also servant.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one question Prabhuji.
Yes.
Uh, as every living entity, we have four defects now, Prabhuji: imperfect senses, Maya, and doing mistakes, cheating propensity.
Yeah.
The outsiders, they won't believe in it now, Prabhuji. Then how we justify them, Prabhuji? And one more question is, you stay in temple only, Prabhuji. So the four defects will not affect for you also, na, Prabhuji.
Okay. First thing is you said how can we explain to people that these
Yes,
they don't believe these four
yes.
defects?
Yes, Prabhuji. They say they may argue that I don't have any defect. I have perfect senses. They will argue that. But we may say that every living entity who is in this material world, they will have this. They will
No, you
say
ask them
and
questions. When you explain, you
they.
ask them, can you see the signals of telephone, mobile phone?
Mm,
Can you see the signals coming from your, if you're listening from mobile or laptop, this Zoom discussion? You ask them, can you see those signals coming? But you can hear.
mm,
Can you hear what the bats are communicating?
mm,
Can you, and isn't the taste also, if we um, eat a gulab jamun and then if we drink a juice, when because gulab jamun is too sweet, when we drink a juice we feel like mm, it's like bland taste, mild, or it's not too sweet. That's because just we ate gulab jamun. So how the tongue is also conditioned. Every sense of touch also, um, um, sense of touch. If you see, like for example, when we take in winters, when we take a warm water shower, then the hand will feel the water is warm, but the body feels water is cold actually, because the body is covered now. When the body is covered, then body is like at a higher temperature. It's hot in a way because of the body produces heat. But the hands are not so hot. Hands are cold because hands are exposed to the environment. So when the warm water falls on the hand, it feels like this water is good, warm. But when it falls on the body, then feel like, oh, this is cold water actually. So sense of touch also uh, is uh, yeah, it's not perfect. We cannot understand using the skin what is the temperature, because different part of the body are perceiving the same water differently. So none of the senses, whether tongue, whether eyes, um, taste, smell also, um, in when you go out to buy perfume, after smelling a perfume, they give us to smell some coffee seeds. Smell this, and then smell the next perfume. Because after one perfume, you smell the other perfume, you cannot really get the smell of that. कुछ समझ नहीं आता कि which one is what is going on. So they give you something. And like for example, the person who wears some perfume, they cannot smell themselves. But when they passes by somebody, other people can smell. They cannot smell. So every sense is imperfect.
Yes.
I mean, I think everybody agrees if you tell them. They're like, yeah, everyone makes mistakes. Yeah. And then these four defects, they are not present in pure devotees. They are the only one who don't have, or Bhagavan himself. The Lord does not have these four defects. Pure devotees don't have these four defects. The reason being, not the reason being, um, one reason is they don't perceive anything from their senses, but they perceive, they
हाँ
see.
बेटा
Their knowledge is perfect. Their knowledge is not based on sense perception, anything. Their knowledge is based on Shastra. And because they are pure, no false ego is not there. They are pure. So they don't
भाई
cheat.
कंप्लीट कर
Cheating propensity is not there.
क्या चल रहा है भाई
They, they don't make mistakes.
नहीं अच्छा है
Is it all right, Padma Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
डन हो गया वो पेज हो गया वो पेज हो गया वो पेज हो गया वो पेज
Any has any other question? Okay. So maybe then we can begin. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवता परमानन्दमाधव श्री चैतन्य। So we were discussing about the fundamental principles of material nature, chapter 26. This is the Gyan Yoga path. The next chapter is this is Gyan Bhakti mixed with Gyan. Bhakti mixed with Gyan. The next chapter is um, this is Sankhya. This particular chapter. Um, we discussed how from very beginning Pradhan Mahatattva, uh, Ahankar, And when it combines with three gunas, then makes the mind, intelligence, and the senses. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, and their respective sense objects. So we saw this much, that how they're all created. We saw a little bit more in detail. We also saw the function of mind, which is to accept and reject, and to reflect, and to think, thought and reflection, and how that give rise to desires. Then we also saw the characteristics of intelligence, and we saw the few of the characteristics of intelligence. One is proper sleep also. Um, then one is doubt, one is create misunderstandings, one is to rectify the one's understanding or correct understanding. These are few of the characteristics of intelligence. Okay. Okay. Now we come to so when earth, water, fire, air, ether, my intelligence, false ego, and all these things now exist. The Lord has created all these things. But all these elements are unmixed. So using these elements, the Lord creates an egg, which is the universe. And Chaitanya Charitamrita also describes from his pores, the Lord uses, when he breathes, he combines all these elements and he creates these golden eggs. And these eggs float in the cosmos, um, and they're basically dead. All these eggs, there is no activity going on. Then the Lord again, um, I think some 100 celestial years passes by. Then the Lord desires to again give living entity the chance to um, awaken their original state, which is Krishna consciousness. So the Lord gives them. So the Lord, in order to give them a chance, the Lord enters into each of these universes that He created, and He enters along with the time, Kala Shakti, Gunas, three modes enter the universe. The Lord enters the universe. The time Shakti enters the universe, and the Karma Shakti, how karma will act, that Shakti. So the Lord goes entered into each universe along with these three Shaktis, the time potency, karma potency, and gunas potency. So if we see people in this um, uh, material universes, they are bound by the time Shakti, they are bound by the karma, their own karmas, and they are bound by time, karma, and they're bound by the three gunas. So the Lord enters along with these Shaktis. Then the Lord, but the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and all the elements are also within the universe, but they are unmixed. So the Lord starts uniting these elements by his glance or by his presence. And when he combines these elements inside, then from there appears the Virat Roop of the Lord. So once the Lord comes, the Lord is like how Chaitanya Charitamrita describes, he lies in the bottom of, first he goes at the bottom of the universe. From his sweat, he fills the universe with half the water. Um, he creates the ocean, which is Garbhodak ocean. So the Vishnu who lies there is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then from him, with all the elements, he creates Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa is basically universal form. And universal form is 14 planetary system. All the planetary system is, they come under the universal form. You see, higher planets are like the upper body, lower planets are like the legs and other torso, and middle planet is like, yeah, earthly planet. So this is the universal form, and all these material planets are made of these material ingredients. So the Lord glances all these material ingredients, they combined and they form the planetary system, and the entire universe in one form is universal form or the Virat Group. Then this universe is said to be covered by the 7 layers. um, each layer is 10 times thicker than the previous layer, and the last final outside layer is actually Pradhan. Uh, There is earth, water, fire, air. Mind is just all see. So, yeah, the earth layer itself is, I think, as big as the, I don't remember exactly, but comparable to the size of the opening. And then water is like 10 times bigger than the opening of the universe. Then further 10 times, 10 times, 10 times. So, in the, if you look at the overall universe, then just the shell, if it is like um, um, one part, then the opening is like a millionth part. Such a small opening compared to the just the width of the shell of the universe. Then the Virat Rupa is the universal form. Then the Virat Rupa divide himself into many departments. Mm. Basically, one by one, the various limbs appears in the Virat Rupa. So there is the Lord mouth is created. So from the Lord's mouth comes speech sense organ, and then the a demigod position is created, who is the in charge of who sits in the mouth, whose location is in the mouth of Virat Rupa, and that is fire god Agni Dev Vahani. He sits. Um, then from the then Lord's nostril gets created, Virat Rupa nostril. Um, then um, the demigod who sits at the nostril of the Lord is Vayudev, and he controls. I mean, not he controls, but he sits there. Also, the living entities are also the reflection, in a way, of the Virat Rupa. Um, so, in our body is also controlled by the devatas. And in our nostril, Vayudev controls our nostril, all living entities. All the speech is controlled by Agni Dev. So in that way, whichever Devata is sitting in the Virat Rupa, um, when we are created, um, having a similar form as the Virat Rupa, then all the Devatas who are sitting there are controlling our different organs. Then the Virat Rupa develops eyes. Eyes are created. And the sense object, the sight or chakshu, that is created. And the Devata who sits there is Suryadev, sits in the eyes. In Ayurveda also, no, not in Ayurveda, astrology. If the eyesights are weak, then they ask those people to worship sun god, because sun god is controlling the eyes. Then ears, Virat Rupa, ears exhibits. The sound is uh, the sense object. Um, and the devata who sits in the ear are called Dik Devatas. Then the Lord, then the skin is formed. The skin, the hair, mustache, beard, all the hairs everywhere, the skin. Um, and then there is a devata. He's in charge of. He's in charge of. And then the devata who sits on the skin of the Lord, and he's in charge of our skin. His name is Herbs. Um, then the Lord produces genitals. There sits Varun Dev, water for water. Um, and the object which is created from the Lord's genitals is semen. Then from the Lord Anus, the Devata who sits there is Mrityu. Mrityu is basically death. Mrityu, he's a Devata. And he sits at the Anus. Um, then the Lord hands were created, and Indra sits there. and hands have the power to grasp something or to drop something. Then Lord legs, Vishnu sits, like Vishnu himself sits there in the legs of the Virat Rupa, and the sense object is the process of movement. So in this way, after basically the universe was created, and from all these elements mixed together along with Kala Shakti and the glance of the Lord came the 14 planetary system, and um, or the universal form, where the whole planetary system are within the universal form. And slowly, all these devatas roles were created, and those they sit there in those positions Virat Rupa. And through that, by sitting there, because Virat Rupa is like the source of everything, by sitting there, they control that particular organ of every living entity, whether humans or non-humans, moving or non-moving living entities. Then the Lord veins were created, and the Devata um, who sits in the veins of the Lord is like Nadya, or the rivers, the deity presiding over the veins. His name is Rivers. Nadya, Nadia. Then the Lord abdomen were created, and the Devata who sits there is Samudra, ocean. Ocean sits there. Um, the sense object created from that is the feeling of hunger and thirst. And then the heart of the Lord was created. Um, and in the heart of the Lord, four devatas. There are four things now. There is Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, and then there is the consciousness itself of the soul. So there are different devatas who are in charge, or who sits in the mind, not the brain, but the mind, the intelligence, the Ahankar, and the consciousness. So Chandra sits at the mind of the Lord. Brahma sits at the intelligence of the Lord. Lord Shiva sits at the false ego of the Lord, Ahankar. Uh, and Vasudev is in charge of Chitta. So from that perspective, our mind is controlled by Moon, our intelligence is controlled by Brahma, our false ego by Lord Shiva, and the soul is belongs to Lord Vasudev himself, Krishna. So in this way, first the universal form were created, then different organs of universal form were created, and then through those different organs, different functionalities were created, and then different devata position were created, who will be the in charge for the whole universe. Those organs, those devatas, so the post was also created. Mm. Mm. So now we have the universe, we have the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, we have Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa has all these organs, and we have all these devatas who sits in various organs of the Virat Rupa. Then these all the devatas, when they wanted to, um, I mean, they took birth and they were sitting there. So they wanted to wake up the Virat Purusha. Virat Purusha is in a sleeping posture. Um, and they tried together to wake up Virat Purusha, but they could not wake up Virat Purusha. So they entered into their respective apertures of the Virat Rupa. Um, Again, for example, the Agni Dev, he entered into the mouth and trying to wake up. And yeah, Indra, he came and started shaking the hands and legs. So wherever their position is, all the devatas, when they together tried to wake up the Virat Rupa, they could not. And then they entered into their respective roles and tried to wake up the Lord, but still they were not successful in waking up the Lord. But however, when uh, uh, Vasudev entered the heart of the Virat Rupa, um, then the Virat Rupa rose up from water, just like how the soul enters the body and the and the body has life now. So likewise, the soul of the universe is Vasudev, and by him the whole Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa is basically the different planetary systems, and everything represents something of the Virat Rupa. Um, and when Vasudev he entered, when all the devatas were trying to wake up, and entered into their respective apertures, trying to wake up the Virat Rupa, they could not. But when Vasudev entered because Virat Rupa is the only material manifestation form of the Lord. Every other form is completely spiritual. Virat Rupa is a temporary form. It's a material manifestation. And when the Lord Vasudev himself enters and sits in um, the Chitta section of Virat Rupa, then everything has life now. Mhm. And then Lord Kapila says, just like our own life airs, mind, intelligence cannot wake an individual soul, but only the super soul can wake us up. If we take rest, and then if we get up, only the super soul, or after sleep we get up, only super soul can wake us up. If super soul leaves, then that is death. And Lord Kapila says that what is the purpose behind uh, describing all these elements, and how all these devatas were created, and how they are in charge of everything, these different organs, and how Vasudev is the one who give life to even the Virat Rupa also. The purpose of describing all this is to contemplate on the super soul with detachment and knowledge and devotion. This process of Gyan Yoga, this whole thing, that's the end of the chapter actually. We can see if we want to begin the next chapter. But this whole chapter is like analytically analyzing who are the devatas, where do they sit, what is the Virat Rupa, what are the senses, what is mind, intelligence, what is their function. So dissecting the whole universe creation into different elements, um, and then understanding that how everything has life only because of Vasudev. So to develop detachment from things that are made up of matter, and to develop the spiritual knowledge and devotion towards the Vasudev, towards the Lord. That is the purpose of the whole Sankhya chapter. Does anybody would like to ask anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandak Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhuji, what is exact difference between mana and chitta? Because you said that Devta of man is, that is mind is Chandradev, and Devta of chitta is
Chitta.
Vasudev. Vasudev. So, is that chitta means consciousness?
Yes. And
And
that is
then,
the representation of soul. No? So if you see, soul comes from Vasudeva. No?
okay, yeah. And
And
that
on
was,
Pur-
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, on Purnima the mind is more active than other days, because uh, the moon is full, na? So the mind is most active on Purnima. Continue.
Yeah, and so this Vasudev is same from Pradyumna, Anirudh, those four
Yes.
quadruples, right?
Mm.
So I just wanted to understand, like, then what is intelligent? Intelligence is and consciousness is again different,
Mhm.
right?
Intelligence is material. It's a subtle matter. It's created from false ego in mode of passion. When they interact, they produce intelligence. And intelligence, these characteristics are doubt, misunderstanding, correct understanding, proper sleep. These are the characteristics of intelligence.
So who rules intelligence? Like who is Devta?
Brahmaji.
Brahma. Okay.
Brahma, Shiva, moon god, Chandra. They are the in charge of intelligence. Then moon god is mind, and Ahankar is Lord Shiva. And the soul um, is under the direction of Vasudev himself.
And then that verse from Bhagavad Gita which says Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So
Hmm.
that we are again asking for Krishna only, right? So that Buddhi means again different.
Yeah, so there is a material buddhi and spiritual buddhi. Material intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Uh, the Paramatma also guides us through intelligence. Paramatma. And we get a clarity or understanding or a kind of inspiration what to do, what not to do. That's like Krishna helping us through our intelligence. Maya acts through mind, Paramatma acts through intelligence.
Understood. So, whoever these devtas ruling over particular organs, so they are working in a material sense, right? Like in the with material covering, right?
Yeah, so different devtas are in charge of different organs. Na? Every organ of our body controlled by devas. So
Yes.
Indra controls the hand in a way, and different devatas control different parts of the bodies.
Yeah, but that is like in a material way it means, right? Like in to some extent, because
Yeah, yeah. They don't have anything to do with the spirit self. That Vasudev himself is in charge of the consciousness.
thank you, Prabhu. Got my clarification. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Right. Anything else? Okay. So do we? I mean, we can start a new chapter. Maybe I can speak something about Lord Chaitanya because of corporate few minutes, if you also desire.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Okay. I mean, um, actually, how much time we have? Um, Mahaprabhu is described as the most merciful incarnation of Lord Krishna. Mahavadanya. And why he is most merciful? He is most compassionate. He is most merciful. Why? Because he has come to give the highest goal to those who are most fallen. Um, every other incarnation, um, the devotees are encouraged and they are given the mercy of the Lord. But the demoniac people are annihilated by the Lord. And that's how they get the mercies through annihilation, demoniac people. But in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not kill any demon actually, did not kill anybody actually. He, even those who are most fallen, he encouraged them also. So he's like the epitome of compassion. Um, Actually, if Lord Narsimhadev wants, na, he can purify Hiranyakashipu. They can do it. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, same personality when they came as Jai and Vijay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged them and gave them also pure love actually. Other incarnations, they give, by killing, they give only impersonal liberation. But Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a pure love actually. Pure love, that too, not just Vaikuntha love. He gives them pure love in Golok, to even those who are um, like very, very patita, very fallen. There is a song by Narottam Das Thakur. on Patita Pavan. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Patita Pavan Avatar. There is a song where Narottama Das Thakur says, Jadi doyana koribe patita dekhiya patita pavana nama kishira lagiya. Jadi doya na koribe patita dekhiya. If you don't deliver, if you don't show your mercy, when you see somebody is fallen, degraded, and if you don't give your mercy to them, then why are you carrying the name Kishira Lagiya? Why are you carrying the name Patita Pavana? So the Lord has come. Like there is this song also, na? Um, Patita Pavana Hetu Tohara Moshamo Patita Prabhu Napai me a Patita Pavana Hetu Tuhara Avatar. You have come here to deliver the fallen. So that's why he is called by Rupa Goswami, he is described as Mahavadanyaya. Another way we can see why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya. One devotee was mentioning is suppose you have a manager, you have a boss, and um, the boss tells you, you do this, you surrender to me, you do whatever I say. So that's one way. Another way the boss says is, let's work together. Let's work together. One way is he tells you what to do and he goes away. Another is he comes with you and he works with you and he achieves the task to completion. So that is the difference between the Lord and any other incarnate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord comes, gives instruction, goes away. Actually, Krishna comes, gives Bhagavad Gita, goes away. Surrender to me, goes away. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't worry, let's work on ourselves together. Come. So he's like, he came as his own devotee. As a own devotee, so he's like, he came to show himself, and like, he's like one among the living entities, in a way, in a form of a devotee. So that's like working with us. One is he comes as the Lord, one he comes as a devotee of the Lord. Devotee of the Lord मतलब सब लोग devotee बनना चाहते हैं ना, तो उनको दिखाने के लिए अपना ही भक्त बन के आए. So that's one way. He's also called Mahavadana, most merciful. He did not come as a supreme Lord himself. He came as a devotee, and as a devotee, he delivered everybody actually. And another reason why Mahaprabhu is called Mahavadanyaya, because he gave what no other incarnation ever gave in the past. Every other incarnation gave up to Vaikuntha only. But he gave Goloka. He gave only Vaikuntha and Satyuga, where the people are very qualified, but where people are most degraded. He is giving the destination which is way higher, which was not accessible even in Satya Yuga. People are way qualified. People who are most degraded in Kali Yuga, he is giving them the highest destination. And among the highest destination also it is said, he has come to give the highest rasa among the highest destination. Ujjwala rasa, Madhurya rasa. And to that level, actually, uh, all three rasas are great. Sakya rasa is great. Vatsalya Rasa is great, Madhurya Rasa is great. So he has come that intimate relationship with Krishna. He has come to award that to people. And another thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is supremely attractive is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's um, um, separation, separation from Krishna. In Adi Leela, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastimes are described till Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. And then from very childhood only, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting his divinity on different occasions to different living entities. Mahaprabhu from his childhood, whether the Brahmana coming to beg food, or whether there is this one instance also, where it was Ekadashi, So they made no food, only fruits and some veggies were there. So Nimai, very small, few months old, and he is like, no, 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 I want to eat the rice which is cooked by uh, Jagadish, Jagadish Pandit. I want to eat that rice. So Jagannath Mishra said, these are all Brahmanas. Nobody cooks rice. Rice is the worst thing to cook, or nobody eats rice. Rice is the worst thing to eat on Ekadashi. So there is no possibility that Jagannath Pandit would cook rice in his home on Ekadashi. But Nimai said, no, 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 I want the rice which he cooked. So then Jagannath Mishra was very surprised. He sent his, somebody to go and check and go and tell Jagadish Pandit. Um, and ask him what he cooked, and he actually cooked many rice preparations. Actually, rice can be offered to Krishna, but rice cannot be. But we can offer grain to Krishna on Ekadashi also. So Jagadish Pandit consciousness was this rice, so, and everybody was very surprised that how Nimai, who is just few months old and sitting here, and he is asking for rice, and he is telling which devotee. And it is said that Jagadish Pandit was actually the vice of Brahmanas who brought food for Lord Krishna. They came, and naturally same mood they wanted to offer. So they cooked for Krishna, and they were very much surprised. It is said Jagadish Pandit knew that Nimai is actually Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they ran with their rice preparation just like how gopis ran. They ran with their rice preparation to feed Nimai. So from his very beginning, then when Sachi Mata was breastfeeding Nimai, and he like चुटके से छोटे से बच्चे हैं. And then she was so happy by looking at the eyes of Nimai and like showing so much love and affection, um, um, and patting Nimai and on his head and massaging the feet of Nimai as Nimai was drinking the milk. Um, then Sachimata noticed, as she was massaging the feet of Nimai, she noticed that there are engraved signs on the feet of Nimai. And then when she looked, then she saw that there are signs on the feet of Nimai. So um, um, before Sachimata saw such symbols on her, when Nimai would walk and run, then she would saw some signs on the floor from the mud or from other places, and she thought probably some devatas are coming to bless my child. But then she realized that these signs are in my own son's body. They called the astrologer, and astrologer said he is as good as Narayan. Same thing that um, uh, 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 what was the astrologer name for Lord Krishna?
Gargamuni?
Gargamuni, yes. So here there is Nilamba Chakravarti. Nilamba Chakravarti, and I think he was Vashishta Muni or something. Nilamba Chakravarti. He was the maternal grandfather of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was called, he did astrological calculation, and he was shocked. Like, wow, who is this child? In the actually, Nilamba Chakravarti, by seeing, he understood he is the Lord himself. He also knew, Chaitanya Bhagavad says, he also knew he will take sannyas. But sannyas Pasan Nilamba Chakravarti did not say. And Nilamba Chakravarti just said he doesn't know how to say that this is like the zodiac of only Bhagwan has these signs. He doesn't know what to say, and he's like, how is it possible? He's like confused, Nilamba Chakravarti. And then he just said something like, if this child delivers the whole universe, I will not be surprised. Something like that he said, Nilamba Chakravarti. People could not understand. So Nimai Pandit, Nimai exhibited his divinity right from day one. The Lord makes the most inauspicious thing into the most auspicious things. It is said the most difficult situation can become very easy if one takes the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed it by his own appearance. His appearance was the most inauspicious time. Why? Because eclipse. Eclipse is considered the most inauspicious. Solar eclipse or lunar eclipse. It was a lunar eclipse. It was full moon, but no moon was visible because Rahu came. So most inauspicious time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted into the most auspicious time by appearing. So when the Lord appears now, when the Lord is remembered, even the most auspicious thing can become glorious. Uh, all obstacles can be removed by taking shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Most merciful. Um, and what about Nityananda Prabhu? Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. He is always in Premananda. He is always in ecstasy. Ananda out of Prema. Sukhi always. So these two brothers descended. Um, Mahaprabhu pastimes throughout. He went to Bangladesh with, he was exhibiting his. He also has his very naughty pastimes in the childhood. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, um, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata would send him to school. He would not go to the school. He would go with all the friends and he would go on the bank of Ganga. And there on the bank of Ganga in Navadvip, Navadvip was a seat of learning. Thousands of people will take bath on every ghat. Every ghat has thousands of people simultaneously. The population of Navadvip was like supremely populated. Um, and there were so very active places, Ganga Ghat. Um, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would bunk the school along with all the friends. And they would go and they would sport on the shore of Ganga from morning till afternoon. And then he would take his school bag and go back to home and put some mud here and there and little bit, just little bit, produce some sweat by running here and there, and would say, "I have come back from home." And what will he do when he go to Ganga? He would do many mischievous things. Some Brahmanas were in half water submerged up to here doing Gayatri. So Nimai would go and go under the water and pull their legs, and the Brahmana would fall into the Ganges by their mouth, and then they would become very angry and they would not see anybody. Underground Nimai would come. Then some of them, they would worship Lord Shiva. So he would actually sit on their shoulders and tie their shikha and pull their shikha and start shouting that I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So Nimai was very naughty. And then some girls would come, and girls were worshipping uh, uh, Parvati for a good husband. Then Nimai would come and Nimai would say, so you have brought all these laddus and arati paraphernalia. So give everything to me for eat and do arati to me. And they would say, hey, get away from here. Then Nimai would say that if you don't do that to me, then I would, as a Brahman, I would curse you that you will have, each of you will have an old husband with four co-wives. In this way, Nimai would make them scared and they were like, no, 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 Nimai, please don't do like that. And they would do arati of Nimai and they would give their sweets, and then Nimai would say, okay, now I'm very happy. Now I bless you with a very handsome husband who is young, youthful. In this way, he would so these girls were frustrated because when they would go, actually, it's just like how Krishna would steal butter, and all the gopis were like externally very angry and internally. So all of them would regularly go to Jagannath Mishra Sachi Mata. The girls would go and tell Sachi Mata how their son comes and steals all of our offerings. The Brahmanas would go and they would say, we're not able to do our Gayatri, not able to worship. He comes and then he just creates a havoc on all the ghats of the Ganga different day, and nobody, we're all like, we are fed up with this boy. Then there is man ghat and woman ghat. So all the clothes of women, like sarees and blouse and everything, he would go and keep it on the man ghat and take men all the garments and put in woman ghat. When they would come and they would see and they would think like, how do I wear these clothes? The men would think in the same, women would think in the same way. So in this way, Nimai was very mischievous also in his childhood. Um, and then one time Jagannath Mishra became really angry. So many complaints were coming. So Jagannath Mishra said, my child always says that he is going to school, but all these complaints are coming. Should I believe them or not? Um, um, then, just like how the gopis would say, Yashoda Maya, no need to scold him because they would love. Likewise, Nimai was so beautiful and so charming that everybody loved him. All the girls loved um, um, Nimai coming and stealing their offering because they would get a chance to have an interaction with Nimai. And these brahmanas also having a personal touch of Nimai was so attractive. Anything Nimai does is like it would fill them with bliss, but externally they would become very angry and go and complain to Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. So one time Jagannath Mishra said, I'll go and uh, um, um, catch him red-handed, and I'll heavily scold him. So when Jagannath Mishra was coming, great anger, great haste, then some friends of Nimai they saw they ran faster, and they told Nimai that your father is coming. So Nimai would quickly take his cool bag and run away from there. And while the father is here searching for Nimai, Nimai would go back home um, um, with a school bag and with some, showing the symptoms that he's so tired, he's hungry to do school in this way. Then Jagannath Mishra would not find Nimai, he would come back and he would ask him, where were you? With anger, and Nimai would say, I went to school and I came back. Then Jagannath Mishra would think like, what do we do? Who is right? Who is wrong? So in this way, Nimai, just like Krishna, he would say, no, I didn't steal any butter. So in this way, Nimai would have any prank, same rasa actually, but in different ways these pastimes Nimai would exhibit. Then Nimai has an elder brother whose name was Vishwarup. So Vishwarup would associate with Advaita Acharya. So Vishwarup was very inspired, and when Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata were looking for a suitable bride for Vishwarup, Vishwarup ran away and he took sannyas. They want to get married. So uh, it really affected Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. And Nimai was the only shelter now, the only son. Before that also, Sachi Mata has given birth to 8 daughters, and they all were miscarriage or died as soon as they came out. So one Vishwarup was there, and Vishwarup also took sannyas. Now only the last, the smallest child Nimai was remaining, and Nimai would say, "Don't worry, I will always be with you." Um, but Nimai didn't lie because Nimai was always with Sachi Mata actually and Jagannath Mishra. And in fact, later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas and to Puri, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that whatever Sachi Mata cooks for me, I always go there and eat. But Sachi Mata, after cooking, she offers, and then when she comes back, the plate is empty, and then she thinks maybe I forgot to put the food on the plate. Maybe I become so mad out of separation from my son that why did I forget? But Mahaprabhu says, go and tell my ma that yesterday she cooked this and I came and ate, and today she cooked this and I came and ate, and it was, and she cooked with so much love that, and she would cry when she would cook, that Nimai would love these dishes and she would make only those dishes that Nimai would love. And um, and then later on, after cooking, she would realize that Nimai has left me, has taken sannyas, and then she would cry. And then when she would offer, Nimai would go and eat everything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu told earlier when Vishwarup took sannyas that I will never leave you. Um, but then one day Jagannath Mishra saw a dream, and Jagannath Mishra saw that Vishwarup came back home, and Vishwarup went to the room of Nimai, caught hold of Nimai, and by his blink, he told Nimai, "Let's go." And then they both started going, and Vishwarup took Nimai also to take sannyas. And that dream very much scared Jagannath Mishra. And Jagannath Mishra decided that I will stop sending my child to school, because if he's not educated, then he will not understand he's a spirit soul. He'll not understand who is God. I'll not send him to school, because if I send him to school, he get understanding, education. Once he has education, then he will work towards the perfection of life, and then he will leave us. So I will just stop sending him to school only. Um, then Nimai would do even more mischievous pranks, because now he cannot go to Ganges. He has to stay at home only. Then he would become even more mischievous, break the pots. Then Sachimata would say, "Why are you breaking the pots?" So Nimai would say, "I don't know if breaking pot is right or not breaking pot is right. Why are you sitting on the pile of those pots? These are mochi. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. Mom, if you don't send me to school, then how will I get the discrimination between what is right and what is wrong?" So in this way, Mahaprabhu became very, very naughty. And then the neighbors also started telling Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata that, why are you doing this to your son? If it's in the karma of the child, of course they didn't realize that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they would say that if it's in the karma of the child to take sannyas, you cannot stop him. And if it is not in his karma, then um, um, then whether then you are just spoiling his life by not sending him to school. And if you send him to school, he will not do that anyways. So what's the point of this action? And when Nimai was becoming more and more mischievous, then they decided, okay, we'll send the Nimai back to school. So Nimai started going to the school of Gangadas Pandit. Gangadas Pandit is Vishwamitra, right? Anyways, Gangadas Pandit started teaching anything Nimai would hear, and he would remember like one time, and like the brightest student. Um, um, and with the blessings of Gangadas Pandit, then Nimai opened his own school. He named the school as Chatushpati. In Mayapur also they started a new education of learning, and the name is Chatushpati, means the school. Um, so Nimai opened, and he was so like every then that's when he received the name Pandit. He just started being called as Nimai Pandit, and students from different teachers, they started going to Nimai, but Nimai was still very respectful to Gangadas Pandit always as his teacher. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are unlimited. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started exhibiting, he is the most merciful, and then he started exhibiting his divinity, the divine pastimes. Although he was acting as Nimai Pandit, um, as a naughty child, he um, through different medium, he would exhibit his divinity always. Jagannath Mishra was very poor actually. So some guest would come and he would not have any money to feed the guest. Then Nimai would go out, and he would say, I will see if I can beg something. He would go, and then he would come back, and he would bring some gold coins. Jagannath Mishra say, what's that? How did you get this? Then Nimai would say, I don't know. Somebody just gave it to me and I brought them here. So in this, I mean, Nimai's wife is goddess of fortune. What is gold coin for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the Lord of the universes. But he would exhibit his divinity right from day one. As a Pandit, also, when he went with all his students to Bangladesh, um, one Brahmana, his name was whose son was Raghunath Bhatta, Tapan
Wait.
Mishra. Huh? Uh, Tapan Mishra. And Tapan Mishra got a dream. She was looking for perfection. He was like kind of fed up or frustrated with his life, and he was looking for what is the truth, how do I attain realization. And then he saw that there is this effulgent golden complexion, Nimai. Um, um, and he saw in a dream, the voice spoke that this he has come to Bangladesh. Tomorrow go and see him and surrender your life to him. By doing that, you will attain perfection. And the voice disappeared. So then Tapan Mishra went. He met Nimai. He surrendered his life, and he asked him, "What do I do?" That time Nimai was just acting as a Nimai Pandit. Then he told about the dream. Then Nimai Pandit said, um, um, don't say this dream to anybody, and don't stay in Bengal anymore. Rather you go to Varanasi. Then Tapan Mishra said, what will I do there? I want to be with you. Then Nimai said, no, I will come and meet you there, but you go to Varanasi. And then he told him, always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant the name of Krishna, remember Krishna, worship Krishna, and you stay there. One day I will come and I will give you all the knowledge. He asked, Tapan Mishra asked, what is the goal? What is the process? Who am I? What is my relationship? Sambandha Abhidya Prayojan. Nimai said, I will tell everything with time, but not now. Right now, you go, just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and stay. Tapan Mishra waited for decades. After, I don't know, a long time, um, maybe 8 to 10 years, that much. Yeah, not decades, but many, many years. Then Mahaprabhu gave teaching Sanatana Goswami, and Tapan Mishra heard that time. So Mahaprabhu, even in his childhood, even Adi Leela, Mahaprabhu is exhibiting so many divine pastimes. What to speak about when he got initiated? Uh, After initiation, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited so many different kinds of pastimes. Chakra for killing Jagai and Madhai, Mahaprakash Leela, showing his different forms to all the devotees. And among all the pastimes, of course, I have to end here now. Among all the pastimes, the most attractive pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Ante Leela. Most attractive pastimes. And among Ante Leela, the most attractive among them is Mahaprabhu exhibiting transcendental madness in separation from Krishna. Transcendental madness in separation from Krishna. That is like supremely attractive. And those pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Um, but maybe sometime in future, if you also desire, sometime we can discuss just the madness part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is the best actually. So just wanted to speak few words because of a short chapter on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, anybody would like to ask anything, say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to your Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Mataji.
Thank you so much for this wonderful nectar, Prabhuji. Very, very, very grateful. Bhagavatam classes are very nectarian anyways, but this is really something else. Thank you so much. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amazing actually. God
Very
Purnima
nice,
Danas.
Prabhuji. This is all from Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Prabhuji.
Mostly Chaitanya Charitamrita. Some
Chaitanya.
little portion from Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Actually
Prabhuji.
the pranks of Nimai was from Bhagavat.
Oh, okay.
Bhagavat describes in more detail. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes in short form.
Okay. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandatam Prabhuji. Uh, uh, thank you, Prabhuji. It was really nice. One of the leelas that I heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was that he. I just vaguely remember, Prabhuji. Is it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's leela? I wanted to ask you when his devotees would actually, when he's in separation, his devotees would actually didn't wanted they didn't wanted him to go into the ocean, so they locked him up, but then into the in the room, but he ultimately he lands up into the ocean, and he says, I am like, don't disturb me, I am in I am in the Goloka. So that was really very touching, Prabhuji. I heard that. So when you are telling me this today, I was remembering that pastime, Prabhuji. It was really nice, actually.
Those are Antya Leela. of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the separation, the madness of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in separation from Krishna. I also have a desire to describe those few pastimes of the Lord. They are so wonderful. Maybe we can discuss sometime in future. But yeah, when we hear about Ante Leela of Lord Chaitanya, especially the separation pastime, that is the way to understand Lord Krishna. It is said the more we develop attachment to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the more our attachment will grow to Srimati Radharani. Actually, the path to Srimati Radharani is Sri Chaitanya, because that's the mood. Krishna came in that mood, in golden complexion. And the love of Srimati Radharani can only be understood through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't have any much scripture about Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. And even if we read whatever we have, we will not be able to understand, we'll be bewildered. But through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's separation, we can understand how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's separation, we can understand Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. That's what Krishna wanted to experience, and he experienced. And through that, he gave us an entry point to understand Radharani's love for Krishna. That is Antelila. That is amazing. That's the only way to approach Radha and Krishna. Through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's past. I would encourage devotees to hear God Leela. Especially you can hear, there is audio book of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you don't have, I can send a link where you can hear the audio of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And last few chapters of Ante Leela is Transcendental Madness. That's what is Radharani's love for Krishna actually.
Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
please share that audio link, Prabhuji.
I will send it to you. Sukumari Mataji, she can send in the group.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. As usual, I was very tired. Panchakalpatarubhisya, Kripasindhu eva cha patitanam Anantakoti Vaishnava. Thank you. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Very much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you
Hare
so much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Very grateful for your time. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Krishna Prabhuji, Danda
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much.
Dandavat
Thank
pranam.
you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.